Thanks, Errol, so much. We are out here at booth 4065, the TrueCar booth, out on the floor. I'm sitting here with Jay, the CMO and CRO of TrueCar. He said he doesn't get paid twice, but he does all the jobs. He said he spends the money, makes the money, all the whole 9 yards. Jay, thanks so much for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. How's the team gotten in from just like being ready for the show?
You know, everyone's troopers. Like one way or another, we found our way, and I was pretty sure for a moment there I'd probably have to drive here from St. Louis. I live in Phoenix, and I was connecting through there. I'm like, all right, I'm going to be ready to get my car and make the 11-hour drive if I have to, but we made it. And if anything, these experiences bring us all closer together, not only just us as a company, but I think everyone who's here, you know, who's made it, who's endured.
You know, it's always interesting to me to hear from people that come from outside of the industry into the industry. You've done some time in the industry, not with TrueCar, and also outside of the industry. I'd love to hear, from you, like thinking about bringing the learnings from places like Hurley or some of the things you've done outside of the industry into auto. What are the things that you're kind of like using the muscle of learning outside of the industry to bring into this?
Yeah, so the very quick background on me is in a previous life, I was actually a professional cyclist. And actually, my first car I got, my team was sponsored by Subaru. So I had a Subaru Legacy. Everyone on the team got a car. And I was like, I'm a millionaire. I have my own car and I didn't pay for it. And so in a previous life, I was a professional cyclist. But once I realized I had to get a regular job, I very much went into media and political campaign and marketing and advertising. So my background's been everything from politics to social causes to selling board shorts for Hurley, and actually in the course of that also working on some tier 1 OEM campaigns. And so coming into TrueCar now, it's really interesting where at the end of the day, I think everything I focused on is about behavior change. And I think where that applies here is one, thinking about how consumers select and choose, whether it's a brand, a model, or a dealer, and how you change that behavior and also reinforce that. And then two, how do we work with dealers to change some of their behaviors and processes to better serve the consumer? And I think it's really fitting and important for TrueCar because of our affinity network, where, case in point, if you're a AAA member and you go submit your lead and you go to a TrueCar dealer and you have a bad experience, that complaint comes to us.
Right.
AAA doesn't handle it, the dealer doesn't handle it, we have to handle it. And so we are highly obsessed and focused with that experience of any of our leads going into the dealership and working with the dealers to better train and work with them to, manage those leads and manage those shoppers in a way that everyone will be happy.
Yeah, I think sometimes behavior change management can kind of seem like a scary or manipulative thing, but I think when it comes to especially things that you're passionate about or things that people recognize you're really caring for a persona or a people group, it's really, really important. You said about the affinity groups and just how you think about the two sides of the marketplace that you guys have to manage. I think it's really important for maybe dealers to understand like how those affinity groups work within your network and what it means to be connected through TrueCar to some of these affinity groups.
Yeah, so what it means is basically a lot of these organizations, you're talking Uber drivers, Sam's Club, AAA, Progressive, even we just signed Gas Buddy. So if you're a Gas Buddy member and all these different things, we basically are able to offer some exclusive benefits to the members of those organizations. They shop for cars through TrueCar on those organizations, and then when they get to the dealer, the lead comes in from the source. One big one that I'm actually very proud of, I think is one of the larger drivers of volume for us, is our employee benefits program. So basically American Airlines employees, Google employees, Microsoft employees, Coca-Cola employees, millions of employees shop for cars through TrueCar. And for us, we're able to connect those folks with dealers, and whether it's special incentives, whether it's direct marketing, like we can do that now for dealers that we never really did before. And the reason why that's important is because we just want to kind of convey that these are all communities of people that are connected by something. And in that regard, when a dealer talks about, I'm a member of this physical community, in this city, in this neighborhood, I sponsor the local swim team, I do these different things, we really want to encourage them to think about, well, what is your presence and connection to these digital communities or these membership-based communities? And so actually one of the things that we're actually doing this year is we're increasing our in-field service team by 40%. So we're going to have a massive staff of people now who will be in the dealerships day in, day out, working with them to better strengthen those connections to these communities, because that is so vital and so important.
Well, I think dealers are always looking for partners that are willing to support them early and often in their needs and connecting with their consumer base. Earlier we were talking about, we're both fans of Seth Godin. He has this theory, this kind of word track on people like me do things like this. And when we talk about communities or affinity networks, and really these are just people that have some level of alignment, whether they're an employee somewhere or they shop at a certain place or they have a login, right? And when you think about that, you've moved to not just saying like, hey, we're going to send leads from there, but we're going to allow you to communicate to those people on almost a one-to-one basis and say, hey, this is how we can help you. Can you talk about how you're exploring media inside those networks?
Yeah, so a couple things. So, we have certain dealership groups that's saying, I want to be known as the dealership group for American Airlines employees in Dallas, or I want to be the dealership group for Coca-Cola employees in Atlanta. So we're able to communicate and send marketing and content directly from dealers to those employees, telling them why they should shop there and that presence that that dealership has in that community. And so that's one of the things that we're doing now. We also have like a preferred military program where we basically, as from an exclusive basis, dealerships in different markets can be our exclusive preferred military dealer, where they'll, from Navy Federal, Penn Fed, TrueCar Military, will get more exposure and preferred placement and exclusivity around marketing to those communities. And so we're just trying to sort of enhance that presence of these dealers to these membership organizations. And we see that it's working. So one of the great things is, as an example, in Q3 last year, our new car sales growth was actually 3x the industry average.
That's wild.
Yeah. So look.
So people are really leaning into the new car network.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So for TrueCar, so when you have an employee at a company or you have a customer at Navy Federal who's banking and they're shopping for a new car, when they do that through us, they're looking to buy. And we've kind of pivoted a little bit where we don't chase traffic. Like, we don't go to look to maximize the amount of people coming to our website. We are very happy being somewhere between 6 to 7 million people coming to our site and our affinity channels a month, because we know that those people are going to buy a car in the next 30 to 45 days. That's all we want.
Very specific audience.
That's
You're
right.
Okay saying no to some to say yes to the right
That's
ones.
That's right.
TrueCar obviously has access to so much data because of that many shoppers, kind of like integrating into the entire ecosystem of what you do. Are there trends that you're seeing that you would encourage dealerships to pay attention to heading into 2025?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is, my general feeling is that, like, look, I think a lot of people are bullish about this year for sure. Great, and last year obviously 16 million units was great. But so I think like the key thing is that I think top line demand, in my sense, may not necessarily increase this year, but I think the intensity of people who want cars or need cars and the quality of that demand will go up. But I think the main issue is, I think the dealers who have great process, great training, and ultimately treat everyone who come in the door like in a very special way are going to separate themselves from the pack. And that's why we're increasing our service staff by 40% to help dealers do that better. And so I feel like it's one of these things where you're going to see that separation, where the cream will continue rising to the top and other dealers who don't invest in those things might suffer a little bit. And so, for us, I think it's just about, you're going to have that intensifying need and want for cars. And it's just a matter of how do you understand those audiences, and then ultimately how do you serve them differently, and their expectation around, this is what I expect when I walk into a dealership, when there's so much choice, so much competition, and obviously, as you know, declining brand loyalty, right? Yeah. So how are you going to stand out in that way? We think our affinity network and the connection and handling those members is what's going to separate a dealer.
It's a little bit about people, is what I'm hearing you say, and the service and the care.
Yeah, it's all about people, and that's the thing. I mean, honestly, for me, I think it's one of these things where, like, if you take care of those individuals and people who are coming in, they're not coming in wanting to buy, they're coming in to wanting to solve a challenge, a problem. And yes, that problem is, I need a car because I just had another kid, or my car is broken down, or I want to explore EVs, right? There's a problem there, and in my 2 decades of experience in behavior change and all these different things in marketing, you have to understand the dynamics of, there's the fear of loss, which is a bigger driver, which is just huge driver in a lot of ways. And so ultimately, how is a dealer and their staff going to sort of help people address those challenges in that regard? And it's tough. Turnover is high,
Sure,
training
sure.
is difficult, all these different things. But again, that's why we're committed to staffing up on our side to handle and support dealers in that regard. Because if we can help facilitate a better relationship with the person, we know they're going to be successful.
That's a big deal. Well, Jay, thank you so much for sharing a
thank
bit
you, yeah.
of your heart, the heart of TrueCar, some of the things that you guys are doing to advance everything in your product suite. Congratulations on a great show. If you haven't been out to booth 465, make sure you do so. We're hanging out. We'll be coming to you later to the show. Errol, back to you.